Yo, it's Chris Brown, Trey Songz, Kanye West.
Your home for hip-hop and R&B.
We the best!
Power 104.7, where old school meets new school.
Like it or not, y'all. 2023. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azure. Let's start this damn show. Yes, it's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azure. Let's start this damn show. Like It or Not. Rebecca Azure is in the house. You know she got a funny story to tell. Talking politics, culture, or real life-ish. I live in life in the ATL. Benjamin, yeah, that's my man. He's always coming up with the master plan. Politics scheming, or trying to find the meaning of life. And while the feds keeps us in strife. I'm your DJ. I really don't need no introduction right now, but you know what? I stay dropping them jams. Y'all know who I am. Good hope, dad jokes, culture-ish, politics. What you're hearing right now was the culmination of all of this. I started out with the mic in my hand, and I graduated to a plethora of fans. I love bringing joy to the people. It makes me feel great, makes me feel regal. I do what I do for you. 8 p.m. Friday, you know how we do. Let's go. It's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azure. Let's start this damn show. It's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azure. Let's start this damn show. Like it or not, y'all. 2023. Let's start this damn show. Let's go.
Like It or Not starts now.
We had you for a second and then we lost you, Rebecca Azure.
That's because every time I unmute, it mutes me. So I don't know if that's you, David, but good morning. So we'll say it like Bubba. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
And not care who doesn't like it.
How are you this morning, Mr. Benjamin P. Dixon? I know that you are coming over, out of, through, away from.
Yes, that dreaded COVID-19. We're still recovering. I'm still looking physically like death warmed over, but I'm feeling a lot better. And it's I'm still testing positive, unfortunately, but it's could have been a lot worse. So I have nothing to complain about.
How long is I know COVID? What is it like? What is? Can you just tell us your experience with COVID?
It's
right
still
now?
real. Oh well,
Yeah.
listen. Let me tell you something. One thing that blows me away about COVID is anyone who got it and then they lost their sense of smell and taste, but they're like pretending like it isn't real. There's a lot of people online who are like, "Oh, my food doesn't taste. Everything tastes the same all of a sudden." No, baby, you got COVID-19. That's what you got. So that finally came back. Lost all my senses. Taste and smell. It eventually came back, but we're still testing positive. 2 weeks. We're coming up to 2 weeks now, which is funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I thought you could, test negative in less than a week and go back to work and stuff." And that, well, that's what some people are telling you, but reality, it could last up to 22 days. So, yeah, there it is.
So, while you've been out, and this is again for our viewing audience, the reason why you're not seeing Ben right now is because he said he looks like death warmed over. But I definitely understand that. Even the other day, when you were one of our guests on Leftist Mafia, you didn't look like yourself, your full self. So I definitely understand that. You was like, honey, yeah, gotta go. They said, Ben, oh my, they were on this week's show, they were saying Ben gave an Irish goodbye.
You know,
I never heard of that, but I thought that was hilarious. They're like, Ben done gave us an Irish goodbye. And then I was like, here go me. Oh no, Ben wrote in the chat and he reached out and he did say that he was leaving because he is recovering from COVID. But we clarified that because they was confused. They was like, not him, just leaving like that.
I was wondering if they read the private chat room.
They don't really read that. David does. David pays attention to that most likely, but everybody doesn't really read that. So David knew. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just had to get off screen because it was, just staring at the screen and feeling loopy and stuff. It's the little stuff at this point that's lingering. But again, I mean, I'm trying to be responsible and not go out and be in places while I'm still testing positive, even though it's been like 2 weeks now. So yeah, COVID is real. COVID is still out there. Everyone, please go get your vaccination booster. Go ahead, wear your mask. Mask work, despite everyone trying to tell you that they don't. It really doesn't make any sense how much misinformation and disinformation is out there. But COVID is real, people.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we're getting through it.
Yep.
And Ben, I pray that you and your family are safe and that.
Yep. Appreciate that, Rebecca. I'm guessing that we lost your audio again. There we go.
We keep losing it. It's me and my faulty mic plug here, and that's why if you are new to the show, if you're new to the listening audience, listen. You could definitely support on patreon.com/like-it-or-not. Patreon.com/like-it-or-not. Get us some new equipment because it looks like I keep hitting my mic and it keeps going out, but we all good. And we're going to get through the show today. Power 104.7. This is our second episode officially on Power 104.7 Twin Cities. Listen, yes. I am excited to be on air, in both ways. We're on air on YouTube and for our viewing audience, and we also get the opportunity to do it on the radio in the city for people to hear us, and I'm so excited about that. Radio was, for those of you who don't know, that was my first love. When they wouldn't give me a TV job when I was at FAMU, they put me on the radio.
Listen, I prefer radio anyway. I got into all of this because I wanted to do radio, but unfortunately I got into radio when podcasts were picking up and radio was going out. So shout out to 104.7 for holding it down over there in Minneapolis. And I actually got an email yesterday. There's a station out of New Orleans, Louisiana that wants to pick us up. So we're going to be talking with them and working that out soon.
Is this exclusive news dropping? Because that's exclusive to me.
Exclusive news. It just dropped last night.
News. You heard it here first, right here on Like It or Not, Power 104.7. Listen, not only are we going to be in the Twin Cities, but New Orleans is also looking to work something out with us too. If you have a local radio that you want the best for us, by us, political, all around, current events, entertainment, blackest news
show. Black.
For us and by us. Black.
I mean, we do have a white guy in the background pulling the levers of the technology this morning, but
right. We're not talking about him. But
shout out to our producer, David.
He's the milk in our coffee, but this is a Black-owned and operated mostly show.
No, it's Black-owned. We got white employees. David, their whole milk.
I am sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all. But no, but if you guys are interested, definitely reach out. Listen, we're already global, but we would love to take this show on the road, radio wise. So definitely, if you're interested, reach out. Patreon.com/like-it-or-not for sure. If you want to help it support and push the show, because we ain't going nowhere. Right. David, I want to check in with you after insulting you. David, who's our producer. I wanted to actually check in with you because I know that they're in New York. There's flooding.
Oh, yes.
And I know that I've been in New York and I've been there where it's flooded, and I know a lot that has happened. And you don't have to, your mic is not working, but you're saying you're good. Thank you so much. He's writing us in the chat, you guys. But there's a lot that's happening in New York, and one of those things is the flooding. The flooding is really bad. You've seen online, and I know I have some footage here that you can play, David, but just to see a little bit of what's going on in New York for the last couple of days. There's just been a lot of rain. The rain has since caused flooding in the city area for sure. And many people are trying to maneuver through that. And finally, It's been a state of emergency for New York. Take a look at all this water that's like it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Even the city area, people are still trying to go grocery shopping. The
Subway.
subways of water are pouring in and flooding through the subways. It is, and this footage is just on Friday. Was taken
Yeah.
on Friday. And look
That
how
city's not
deep.
ready.
Yeah, the city's not ready. They never were ready. And guess what? I heard Mayor um,
Eric
Adams
Adams. Yeah.
was nowhere to be found. Um,
He's too busy building those new dialect robot cops that are patrolling the city right now. They're spending too much money on that to worry about the infrastructure because the city is. I mean, can you've lived in New York, so you know
mhm,
better than most that a lot of people, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people live underground in basements. Right. And you think about the flooding that you see here, like there's no way anyone who has an apartment remotely underground is not completely flooded out and everything destroyed. Like there are buses that can't even pass through the city because the water is so deep,
mhm,
and they're spending all this money on robot cops.
yeah. And the buses are actually, even though they're not supposed to be, they are passing through the city anyway. And the water is taking over the bus itself. I've
Wow.
seen some footage about that. People, they had to get through, and the buses were filling with water immediately as they went through the flooding. So a lot of people were taking videos of that as it was happening. I seen that. I thought that was crazy. But uh, Eric Adams, the mayor, has said to be missing, but looks like he had something to say after all. Let's take a listen.
Mm. Mayor Eric Adams. Okay, so we have to hold on that
And then
particular
being the one shot is just crazy. That for me is just the crazy part about it, because Ben is here. I know they got you right here
Yeah,
as
I'm in that little
online.
corner. Yeah.
And I would love if we can do a split screen and then put us together if we can, just even if it's a still. But if y'all just want to see me like this, that's fine
Rebecca,
too.
they want us to listen. I got a voice, I got a face for radio. You got a face for the internet. Stay up there. You're fine. You're fine. They just need to hear my voice. They don't need to see me. But listen, what's going on in New York really, when you think about how I was reading that this happened after they were getting about 2 inches of rain per hour, and the city is only equipped to handle, I believe, 1.5 inches of rain per hour. Can you imagine when some serious storms come through the city? They're just not prepared, and they're spending all their money on the police state. But here's Mayor Eric Adams. I don't know if you want to toss it to him.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I am issuing a state of an emergency for New York City based on the weather conditions. And I want to say to all New Yorkers, this is time for heightened alertness and extreme caution. If you are home, stay home. If you are at work or school, shelter in place for now. Some of our subways are flooded, and it's extremely difficult to move around the city. Many of our area airports are experiencing delays, and if you are out and encounter a flooded area, be it on a roadway or a subway station, do not enter. Take necessary precaution. This is a dangerous weather condition, and it is not over. And I don't want those gaps in heavy rain to give the appearance that it is over. It is not.
Mm, mm.
So it definitely, okay. So again, as this started to happen, nobody heard from him. So this is one of the first comments that we are hearing from Mayor Eric Adams, as far as fully communicating with his city. I know they put a state of emergency for the area, but people are still out. Some people were still trying to go to work.
Yeah.
Some people were still, like I said, grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Animals is floating all next to them. It's terrible. And there should be right now, as a state of emergency is underway, New York, even after it's past flooding, hurricanes, this is not anything new. They should have been working on infrastructure and how
Yes.
to just make sure that if this happens again, not even if, when this happens again,
That's
any type
right.
of flooding, we can make sure that the city is properly prepared for it. But this is something that is ongoing. And as climate change is real, we're
Yeah.
starting to see more flooding happen in New York than usual. And so I think that the city putting more money into things like policing instead of infrastructure is very telling.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe they have enough cops to go down there into the subway and plug up all the holes with their fingers, right? Because that's how many cops they pay in the city. If they have like 5,000 cops patrolling the subway, I don't know what good that's going to do when the subway floods like it did yesterday and like it's going to do again. And what's so bad about this is that it really just reflects the United States of America, that who's taking climate change seriously? Who's prepared for it? What city? What city in this country is actually prepared for the flooding that's coming, and then the mass migration that's going to come as a result? I mean, look at these images. People are having to be rescued by boat in New York City.
In New York City, I mean, oof, it looks terrible. But before we get to the show and more stories, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. We'll have more Like It or Not right after this.
So make sure that you stay tuned. More Like It or Not is coming up next. But before we get to this next break, what do you call a French guy being mauled by a lion? What do you call a French guy being mauled by a lion? Claude. More Like It or Not coming up next, y'all. Stay tuned.
Where the rhythm meets power.
Power.
104.7.
You're tuned in to Power 104.7. This is Like It or Not on the Benjamin Dixon Show. And we're back. Listen, I was jamming. I sound like the white folks. I was jamming. All right. Now, that was my song. And the way that I remember back in the day when I used to go out with my buds.
Were you in the clubs when that song was on?
I was a child. I was not in the clubs yet. I was a kid.
Oh,
I used to watch it when it was premiering on 106 in Park on BET.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Goodness. I keep forgetting I'm about a decade older than you. I think I was in the streets.
Not about. You are a decade older than me.
Oh my goodness. This show is so irreverent, and so you just got, I mean, just so disrespectful in ways. I mean, elder abuse. We got
ageism. I be trying not to go there.
Reverse racism. No, I'm joking. Ain't no such thing.
Right. Every time. But listen, I know that when that song came out and I saw Andre 3000 as a little girl, I think I was in middle school when Hey Ya came out, and he had that pressed out hair and that full mole on his face and that green. And I just knew right then and there what type of man I would love in my life. And all because of Andre 3000. And then, my obsession with Chris Brown took place. But,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty serious obsession there. But believe it or not, as bald as I am now, back when that song came out, I had my hair down like Snoop, man. I had so much hair hanging from my head, pressed down to the gods. So I used to toss it around like a little bit like it was.
Ben, I saw a picture with you with braids, with braids.
Yeah. The braids didn't really do it justice because you take it out and you have one of the sisters in the hood to just press this. Before I got married, just pressed it out. Man, I used to walk around looking like a 5'7" Snoop. So not exactly like Snoop,
That's all right, Ben. You was looking like Ben, right? You had your you had your prime time. No, you are just in your prime now.
Yeah.
So that was your younger days, and you're still in.
Who knew most of my life was going to be bald? But anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
Bald is in. Okay. And at least you're not in the 60s where they was just going to the barber and saying, "Hey, yo, I don't care what direction you go, just get me right." They had no kind of idea, geometry, no algebra, no mathematics for that hairline. They just said, "Hey, look, you balding? That's all right. We'll work around it."
The Beijing.
We'll give you a George Jefferson.
Oh, Lord, have
around it. No, today they're doing Beijing. They're touching it up. They got wigs, the glue with the wig. Put that down on like that. And there you go. You're good to go. They have so many different ways. So Ben, just because you're bald and if you're not ever comfortable with it, your body, your choice. If you want to go ahead and do a wig.
Listen, I'm gonna pull a Steve Harvey. If you ever watch the old Showtime at the Apollo, you could, and I ain't trying to say I love Steve Harvey, but you could see when he transitioned from his real hair to that big old toupee that he used to wear, give him a high top fade. So now he's come to the dark side. He's bald like the rest of us. We all are really bald.
So
But
was that was a toupee? It was so straight,
it was so clean and fresh. But you
like
really
his teeth. So we know his teeth ain't real, and never been, and probably ain't never been.
Listen, I like Steve. I love Steve. He's
I
cool,
love
cool.
Steve Harvey. I think he's hilarious. I like his style. But now that I look back at that is
that high top fade he used to have on the Steve Harvey, the high towers. Man, look, that was a professional too. That was one of the best professional toupees I've ever seen in the history.
And listen, he was before his time with that.
There it is. There it is on the screen.
Steve Harvey, for our listening audience, head over to YouTube and take a look at what we're looking at, or Google it right now and look at his hairline from the Steve Harvey show. Mm-hmm. And he was before his time because people are now doing that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm thinking about it. I'm really, because the dogs I use. Anyway, we're supposed to be talking politics.
That's all right. We are going to get to some politics. Listen, Steve Harvey, when he came out bald, he shut down everything.
Yeah.
But there's another shutdown that's happening that people aren't talking about. And that's the and that is the government shutdown. That is the government shutdown. I don't know why we're not hearing a lot of talk surrounding the government shutdown, but you guys, hey, something's happening. And it's been brewing for about a week now. And I haven't seen much people discussing it, but federal agencies are making final preparations with the government on the brink of shutdown, and congressional lawmakers racing against today's critical midnight deadline. Today, Saturday, there's a deadline at midnight, but a shutdown will commence at midnight unless lawmakers strike a last-minute deal after GOP House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Friday, yesterday, failed to find agreement within his own party, Republican Party, to extend government funding, leaving Congress at an impasse. So we've been watching this play out. I know you probably haven't been watching. You should definitely know that a government shutdown is looming, and there's so much happening, so much conversation that's surrounding it. And we will get into a lot of different puzzle pieces that are surrounding this government shutdown and things that are attached to it. But I want you to take a listen to what the Office of Management and Budget Director, Shalonda Young, and this is a brief conversation that she had with reporters, but when she was asked what is going to happen and who is going to take a hard hit, this is what she answered.
McCarthy says that he's not going to take a salary during a shutdown. Does the president plan to pause his salary also?
Look, I'm glad that the speaker has made that statement. By the way, members of Congress have to get paid constitutionally, so maybe he'll put it in a sock drawer. I don't know, but they have to get paid during a shutdown. That's theater. That is theater. I will tell you, the guy who picks up the trash in my office won't get a paycheck. That's real, and that's what makes me angry.
So the speaker we know is Kevin McCarthy, and him saying that he's not gonna get paid. He's gonna make sure that he bows out his salary. And honestly, it is theater. It's definitely theater. And I'm not sure if we have a clip from Kevin McCarthy, but here he is. And if we do have a clip, David, let me know, because I also wanted to get into this conversation with an employee, a government employee, who is the one that's going to be affected. Listen to her take on if a government shutdown happens and what that will look like for her. Take a listen.
Able to pay your bills by the end of the month if Congress doesn't act?
Oh yeah. Yes. I worry about that a whole lot. I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying not to cry.
Price has worked at the Library of Congress cafeteria for decades, faced with yet another shutdown.
I've been up on this hill for 42 years. I've been there.
Right. And so, you know, she's been working in that cafeteria for 42 years.
Yeah.
She's been there for a long time, and she gets hit. We're talking about she works for Congress. Yeah, she's a cafeteria lady, but still, she works there. And the government shuts down. She doesn't make any money. She shouldn't have to worry about that. She said she's worried about if she shouldn't have to pay her bills, which puts into mind for me how she's living paycheck to paycheck, feeding our congressmen and women, working at the highest, one of the highest places
You talk about the
in our
highest of all the
nation.
hills. The
Yes,
highest
of
Capitol
all of
Hill
them.
is the highest of
Yes.
all the hills.
Okay. And she's working there, and the reality hit me when she's saying this. She shouldn't have to worry if, like, government shuts down for about a month or so, because hopefully she has something where they can assist her and help her, but nothing is in place. She's in fear. She lives paycheck to paycheck, like most of us do, which tells us she's on that line of being poor in America. Like most of us are, but they call that working class, right?
Come on.
And it's that teetering right there with that poor,
On
right?
the brink,
And
right.
on the brink, one paycheck is gone and you don't know. She's having to deal with this. This isn't the first time. This isn't the first time that she's had to deal with this. She had to deal with this before. And I think her knowing what can possibly happen in that time, and she may not have any assistance, but the speaker, Kevin McCarthy, says that he's going to forfeit his salary.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he's not already individually wealthy. Like he doesn't need those checks. There are people who need these checks. And this Willie Joe Price, like 42 years. So she's been a part of every shutdown. She's seen every shutdown that has happened. The 5 previous shutdowns that have happened, they've all happened because of Republicans. So she knows firsthand that the people who are going to get hit the hardest are the people who are living closest to the brink, living on the edge, check to check. The people who aren't salaried workers, people who are coming in and clocking hours and taking out the trash and feeding, like you said, feeding. It really blows you away when you think that Capitol Hill, as much money passes through there, you have an entire underclass of workers. Just like, I mean, it shouldn't surprise us. That's America. But then to see the face of it, first of all, she's a Black woman, right? And then shout out to Abby Phillip from CNN doing that interview and bringing light to the fact that there's an entire class of people who prop up this government who are going to be hit the hardest because of the games the Republicans are playing.
And the games that Republicans are playing and confusing even their own, right? Matt Gaetz, who is basically the one that's heading all of this, has Kevin McCarthy is basically speaking to him. So even they are in disagreement amongst their own, but they try to put up a front that they are all unified. But in reality, they're cracking themselves. Let's take a look at Kevin McCarthy speaking to Matt Gaetz.
Committee. Now you've got the Senate, and at least they've taken their bills through committee. I don't know if you reported, but the Senate has never passed an appropriation bill this year, right? Only the House has taken action, but you only follow us. So you've taken that away. So members don't want to have it on there. Then members say they only want to vote for individual bills, but they hold me up all summer and won't let me bring individual bills up. Then they say they won't vote for a stopgap measure that keeps government open. So I don't know, where do you go in that scenario? Have you ever seen that? I mean, that's all right. But where do you go? So you kind of feel my pain? We do. All right, all right. Can't you report a little kinder? Are you what do you do?
So for the listening audience, it may sound a little low, so we can stop it right here. Basically, he's confused. He doesn't know how to. He understands, like, he's like, all these people are complaining, and he's talking about his own party.
That's right.
And he's referring to Matt Gaetz and all these complaints. Well, what y'all doing? Where do we go? The math isn't mathing. What you guys are asking us to do, or me to do as the speaker, doesn't make sense. And now I got to sit before people and look crazy on behalf of this. Republicans want to blame who? Joe Biden for this. They're doing everything, and there's no actual facts or anything that makes sense as to why it's Joe Biden's fault, to be honest. But spending anywhere, everywhere, whatever, the government is shutting down because there's a claim to be the money's going to run out. But yet, you guys, salaries are still going to get paid for those people. But the people who are going to be affected the most didn't ask for this. They're still trying to show up to work every single day, while y'all over here trying to play who has the biggest hoo-ha or whatever the case may be. It's really dumb.
Yeah, listen, they are Kevin McCarthy is in a stranglehold. He got his power through backroom deals with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz, right? His power comes from the very worst in the Republican Party, the Freedom Caucus, the extremists who are trying to shut the government down for a couple things. They want to gut right? They want to gut the safety nets. Like the one thing that they're coming for is some Title I funding for schools that are already impoverished. They want to gut that. Another hard line that they're holding up on is the funding for the Ukrainian war. So you're seeing a whole lot of allegiance from Republicans to Vladimir Putin because they refuse. Like across, it's in the Senate, but you got people like Senator Rand Paul, who refuses to sign anything if it has included in it funding for Ukraine. So Kevin McCarthy is really just a puppet at this point. He's a figurehead that can't make any moves because he can't control his own party. That's because his party has gone to the extreme. Like they are extremely against the United States of America and looking for any way they can to undermine it. And they're doing a pretty good job of it.
They're doing a pretty good job of it, and it's really sad, but they're wasting our time in government and our tax-paying dollars. I hate to be that one, but this is the waste.
Yes.
Of our time and our tax-paying dollars. We should be focusing on things that are happening in the world. New York is literally underwater. People are hungry. People are homeless. There are so many other things that we can be focused on. And I say all that to say a lot of people have been holding the Republicans and others accountable for this waste of time. And one of the wastes of time during this government shutdown that they want us, because you know how Republicans do, there's a huge diversion. They want us to divert our attention somewhere else while they work behind the scenes to do whatever else. The diversion right now is the impeachment inquiry. Inquiry, Ben, get me right.
Hey, either potato. I like either.
Okay, because listen, David the other day was struggling too. He was like inquiry. It really gets you. It gets you.
It's one of those. I give you that. I never really. I say it both ways on my show. So go.
Okay, inquiry. I'm gonna go with that. So this in this first impeachment inquiry for President Biden, this is where we are. Republicans are zeroing in, of course, on who else? His son, Hunter Biden. That's what they want to make this case. They want to say that he benefited from his son's business dealings and brought that to the White House under his administration. And so this was 6 hours of a hearing. Okay. This was 6 hours of a hearing. The government shutdown is just looming like this. 6 hours of a hearing for this impeachment or this impeachment inquiry. So Republicans are struggling. They're struggling right now. So much so that as they try to prove their case, some star congresswomen, some star leaders, congressmen, they challenged these Republicans. And why the hell are we sitting here? I have a few videos, one from, and we'll start with this because I got three shining stars in this moment, and there were so many more. And this is what I love to see. But let's start with Maxwell Frost and what he did as he sat there and he spoke with them. And this is short, but it's sweet. Let's take a listen.
Say this hearing is to establish the basis for this fake sham impeachment hearing, but these witnesses are not giving us any basis or giving us any evidence or giving us any solutions. They are giving us
several times.
I reclaim my time.
I have to stop because that's not a true statement.
I reclaim my time. These witnesses are not giving any answers. They're just asking more questions. We have one witness who has a lot of questions, Ms. O'Connor. Dubinsky.
Oh man. Oh, the best part was coming up after that.
It was coming up. But the clip man. I know. I couldn't find that whole clip. That's a good clip. That's a good clip. Yeah. Now, not you. So it's query, Ben.
I try to say it privately in the chat. Don't ask me these things on air, Rebecca.
For the listening audience, listen, and for the viewing audience, while I am here doing my job, and after asking on air, Ben, is it inquiry or inquiry?
I be trying to do it in private, and you be asking me to do it publicly.
Ben goes into the private chat as I am about to give the business right now. I look over and say, he said, go with query. I feel like Ben came to me virtually and put his hand on my shoulder, like, okay, can we go?
Listen,
okay.
English is your second language. We're gonna leave it there. Let's go.
It is. Yes, it is. And we'll leave it there and we'll go. So inquiry. Does that sound right? Okay.
Yes, it's inquiry.
Okay.
I should have just been honest with you in the first place. I just didn't want to do it live on air, Rebecca. Go.
Ben is an English teacher, literature teacher,
all of the
above. So it's going to bug him if I don't say it correctly. So hopefully moving forward I do. But thank you, Ben, for the correction. Who?
Shout out to all the Zoes.
Shout out to all the Haitians and Zoes. What's going on? And you know how it be. There's some things that we probably got the syllables wrong on, and it's all wrong. But we'll keep it moving now.
Okay. All right, back to Maxwell Alejandro Frost. That clip was amazing. The part that got cut off. Yes.
Frost. He gives me Alejandro. Yes. But he wasn't playing. And on his desk, he has like an iPad where that's showing the Republican shutdown and how many days it's going to happen in. And at that time, it was 2 days, 10 hours, and 24 minutes at this particular moment when he was making his statement. And now we're midnight tonight will be if they do not reach an agreement. But he was showing how, listen, we're sitting here wasting time when something real is actually happening. Another person we have, of course, AOC, Congresswoman AOC, and she goes in on them by asking again just the simplest questions. Let's take a listen.
And 3 witnesses to advance their case. Mr. Turley, I have a simple question for you. In your testimony today, are you presenting any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
No, I'm not.
No, you are not. Ms. O'Connor, you are the second Republican witness here today. Have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Dubinsky, as the third and final Republican witness in this hearing, have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
Okay.
Period.
So they're all saying I have not. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, who we call AOC, is just asking simple questions. There's nothing fiery about it, but it's giving us the point that this is a waste of our time. No Republican person that's sitting up there has witnessed any crimes that the president has committed or has given that as evidence while they're sitting here wasting our time. A government shutdown is looming, and here they are. And they are admitting to not having anything. No information, no evidence, just hearsay.
Yeah.
Just a feel. Just listen, if we can just find something, it's in the emails.
It's in that 700 pages of documents they want us to read, but they don't know what's in it themselves.
They haven't looked through it.
This is the game that they play. And I'm glad you played this specific clip of AOC, because that's the whole point, right? The whole point is they literally have witnesses in front of Congress who have no evidence to support the reason they're having the hearing. Like, they literally have nothing, but that didn't stop them from doing this hearing. That's because they believe their own hype. They've been telling themselves that Biden did something wrong. They've been telling themselves they need to impeach. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been trying to exact revenge for Donald Trump, who legitimately got impeached. So this is just backlash for what's happening to Donald Trump and the fact that he's a twice impeached, 4 times indicted president. So now you have people like James Comer, the chair of this committee, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Byron Donalds, right? The black man from Florida who went out there, made himself look like a fool. I don't know if you have that other clip of AOC embarrassing the snot out of Byron Donalds, getting caught in real time fabricating evidence. So this is how far they went. They had no evidence, so they had to start making up evidence.
And they don't even have anything made up right now, which is the most embarrassing thing, because it's like, well, if you made it up, how y'all sticking to the story? If I'm asking you, is there anything, and you are admitting that there's nothing.
Well, here's a key thing. The witnesses can't lie, right? They're under oath. They would go to jail. But the Congress people, Byron Donalds, he entered in a lie, right? So this is why those witnesses were so careful to say the absolute truth, right? They have no evidence. That's because Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Republicans, they were inserting all the lies into evidence.
So someone else.
Oh, yes.
Our star, the GOAT. We can give her the most valuable player award in this whole thing. Honestly, for the most valuable voice right now amongst her peers. Somebody who came out, again, I'd never heard of Jasmine Crockett, who represents Texas, Congresswoman. And she gives me a fiery Maxine Waters, but 2023, if that makes sense. And I want you guys to take a listen because we played her last Saturday, but today she goes viral for the same reason, but she didn't play. If asked if she had evidence, she had it. She had it. Let's take a look at what she does as she calls Republicans out for the sham of an impeachment inquiry.
Ever heard them say if since we've been sitting here for I don't know how long?
Yes, I've been taking a tally.
Oh, okay. Can you show us? Can you tell us what the tally is?
More than 35 times, the Republican witnesses and Republican members of the committee have used the word if.
Thank you so much for that. Because honestly, if they would continue to say if or Hunter and we were playing a drinking game, I would be drunk by now. Because I promise you, they have not talked about the subject of this, which would be the president. But let me tell you something that was so disturbing as I walked in to this chamber today. As I prepared, I said, what is the crime? Because when you're talking about impeachment, you're talking about high crimes or misdemeanors. And I can't seem to find the crime. And honestly, no one has testified of what crime they believe the president of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, it's at least indictments. Let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets, 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry in the streets of the United States. And I will yield.
Some people want to say she's that angry black woman. She wanted to utilize that moment and be ghetto and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, the shade room comment section gets it wrong every time.
That's because they're Republicans. They're conservatives. The shade room, Hollywood Unlock, all these right-wing Instagram accounts that pretend to be black. And you go in the comment section, it's got the most anti-black comments you can imagine. Talking about Jasmine Crockett like
they
this.
think that they're so innovative by going against her. She's just saying the basic thing. And my thing is she's saying it for everyone to be able to understand. This clip went viral and people who don't know politics were able to understand exactly what she is talking about. She's saying that while you guys are trying to bring down Joe Biden and focusing on Joe Biden and have him impeached, we had a sitting president named Donald Trump as our president who broke so many laws and had our information. Had our information, secret information, just sitting
nuclear codes
in the bathroom. Nuclear codes
in the bathroom,
sitting in the bathroom, which she literally called she said it right, and I said, "Oh, they can say that over there on the floor." Oh my God! Listen, she said it. She's sitting in the bathroom, right? Sitting in the hallways, and just for everybody to come in and walk and just grab information and be able to walk. Listen, that was Donald Trump is a criminal. Criminal. He was the president of the United States and he didn't care about any national secret information. And the feds came and did all that for nothing. That man should have been impeached. But you're talking about I don't like everything that Joe Biden does. I'll be honest with you. But if we're going to talk about let us have something here. The something cannot be what his son is doing. And he can't control what his grown son is doing. And you guys want to connect him so bad to what his son does and his lifestyle of his son and all those other things. What he wants to do is protect his son. That's a father at the end of the day.
Mm. You know, I'm thinking. I'm looking for a comment in the comment section. Somebody asked the question, "Why shouldn't she be mad?" I want to give whoever said that credit, but I can't find the comment. Why shouldn't she be mad? Like she should absolutely be upset. Thank you, angry. Thank you, Shade Dragon in the chat room. Why shouldn't she be angry when you consider the amount of lies that led to this waste of time and this hearing? Right? We are literally dealing with the propaganda machine that is the Republican Party that has made nothing into an impeachment inquiry, right? They have nothing, but they have taken it all the way to the brink, and the government's getting ready to shut down. She should be angry. I want to say this, though. It's not only the comments in the shade rooms, people like Dr. Boyce Watkins and some other folks, Tariq Nasheed on Twitter. I'll call them out by name because how you a big grown-ass black man, excuse me, church members, how you a grown behind black man attacking a black woman when she is up there doing her job and doing her job just as good, if not better, as any other congressperson. You should be celebrating her. But because there's a group of people who are always going to attack a black woman when she gets out of whatever character they suggest she should have, they want her to behave a certain way, and they don't want her to be her own free autonomous agent. And what Jasmine Crockett is saying is not only can these Republicans in Congress can't control her, but all these haters out in the streets who are telling her to act a certain way, they can't control her either.
And you know what's funny, Ben? She actually responded to her viral moment. This is another one of her viral moments. And because she is black and she, and we'll say, so to speak, angry, and she should be angry because she's worried as a representative of the United States of America. She's worried about Americans. Why is that a problem? When we are wasting time and dollars that can go to them.
Oh, I know why. Here's why it's a problem, because there's people who are paid to give this talking point. This is the talking point right now today about Jasmine Crockett. Oh, she has all this energy to defend Joe Biden, but she doesn't use this energy to protect black men. That's the talking point that they're getting paid to spread today. I put emphasis on the fact that they're getting paid.
There are cracks in that foundation that they're trying to build up about Jasmine Crockett because she's becoming well known, or because we're getting to know her. She's been in this position already, and we didn't know who she was until these moments that they do this on purpose.
I knew who she was. I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy, but I've been following her work for a minute.
You said that last Saturday too. Okay, inquiry. All right, I got it. But I didn't know who she was. And there are so many more that are like her that we don't know who they are because they purposely keep them hidden. Yet they will let moments like this go viral because they want people like Tariq Nasheed. They want the Hoteps. They want the all them other people that I would not name by name, but they want them to group up and go against her. And they also want us to think that this is who she always is. She's passionate, but she got the seat for a reason, though.
That's right.
Let's be real. Let's be honest. But let's take a look at her responding to the criticism and why she's so passionate on, sitting with Abby Phillips on CNN. Let's take a listen.
Black girl magic for real.
Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting because I would love to have it. So grab that clip. We're going to take a quick break, but definitely grab that clip because I want you guys to hear from Jasmine Crockett herself. It isn't a document. We'll be right back right after these brief breaks, and make sure go ahead and fill up on your coffee or fill up on your tea because we have just a little bit more heat coming for you. Right back after this.
To make sure that you stay tuned, we got more coming up next on Like It or Not with Rebecca Azor here on the Benjamin Dixon Show and Power 104.7.
You're locked into Power 104.7. Home of hip hop and R&B.
Listen, real quick, I want to give a shout out to everyone in the different chat rooms. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. There was a comment and they moved so fast. Oh, here it is. From Smokey Rose saying that they are watching us live from work at Starbucks. Solidarity, comrade, all the workers who are on the clock listening. Shout out to you all, everyone who's watching on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of you in the chat room. I love that we are broadcasting locally in Minneapolis, but I also know that we have folks from all over the world. So drop in the chat room where you're coming from, where you're watching from, so we can give your city and your country a shout out. Rebecca.
Thank you so much for that, Ben. And welcome back. Power 104.7, like it or not, here on the Benjamin Dixon Show. You guys, we are going to play that clip just like I promised you, because I want you guys to hear Jasmine Crockett actually speaking from her own mouth about the criticism that she's received for standing up for what's right, and that's the people's rights. Okay, let's take a listen to her sit down with Abby Phillips.
Why did you go there?
Okay, so let me break this down. To be clear, Nancy Mace continued to cuss in this hearing. And my attitude is I will match your energy or exceed it. And I felt like I was going to use a better, way of using the word when I used it. So I did, and that was that.
What do you say, though, to people who just look at all of this? I mean, you mentioned Nancy Mace. We've seen some other things, Lauren Boebert and others, and Marjorie Taylor Greene privately, publicly using profanity.
Oh, yeah.
Matching energy with energy, is that always the right strategy? What do you say to people who say it's not?
I say that they don't understand what's going on in Congress and they don't understand what's going on in our country. Right now, I think historically, and I applaud those that have come before me, Democrats have always wanted to be the ones to say, this is how we are supposed to conduct ourselves. And they think that just by maintaining that type of decorum, that MAGAs and others will respond and do the same, but they don't. And so sometimes you got to make sure that they know that you can bring it as well as push back. And that's what you're seeing right now. The younger generation is pushing back quite vigorously. And I think a lot of the American people, not just young people, but I've got constituencies of all ages, and they tell me, thank you so much, because they're tired of us kind of sitting back quietly. And this is a very emotional thing. In that moment, I was very emotional for a lot of reasons. Number one, as an attorney, it was an affront to me that we are going through this sham impeachment where there is no evidence, and you didn't even try to bring one witness that could bring any evidence. There was no fact witnesses. On top of the fact that right now our government is about to shut down. The one thing we are supposed to be able to do is pass a budget, and they weren't doing that.
Do you think that we will see more of these impeachment hearings? Your colleague Jamie Raskin seemed to suggest that perhaps we won't, because this one really didn't go the way Republicans planned.
If they know what's good for them, they will let it go. I mean, listen, we have an all-star cast. You saw that clip. I was surprised that my clip was a clip that ended up going viral. Every single member on the House Democratic side was extra strong. And so, most people can't sit around and watch hearings all day. They're working and trying to make sure that they can keep a roof over their heads. But if they know what's good for them, this hearing didn't go well. It's a bad day for the Republicans when even Fox News can't spin it.
We've done multiple fact checks on that hearing, and at best, there was just a lot of...
So right here, David, you see, we can go for, this is a good clip. That's a good clip. Now I'm going to start with so much eyebrow, brown skin, lashes, hair, nails, outfit.
They were giving. They were giving. Both of them.
Gave so much blackness.
Yeah.
And baby, black women. I'm going to just say black women. Now, besides black women, I love how she broke that down. She even said, I don't know why I went viral. You see, they tried to spin it. But her going viral, they wanted it to be this angry black woman using a curse word when all of them were sitting there. Those other people were cursing on the floor. They were angry. The Republicans, as they were speaking and trying to make this thing that isn't a thing, they were aggressive. They were nasty. And what they did was try to make her go viral, right? But it had pretty much a reverse effect because she asked questions and provided evidence.
Yeah.
She juxtaposed, she juxtaposed President Biden and to former President Donald Trump, and who the real criminal, if we want to go with evidence.
That's right.
If we want to go with history, who the real criminal is and who should have been impeached.
Yep. But here's what's frustrating about this to me, Rebecca. You said it earlier, like neither one of us are like huge fans of Joe Biden. Right. But because this impeachment proceeding is so ridiculous, it's like it almost makes it seem like we're trying to defend Joe Biden. No, what we're trying to defend and what Jasmine Crockett was defending was the actual process, right? The fact that we have a political process that is so burdened down with the stupidity of Republicans coming there with absolutely no evidence so that they could try to impeach a president that hasn't done anything that's impeachable. That is an affront to our democracy. And that's what I think Jasmine Crockett was standing up against. And that's why we have to speak out against it, because honestly, if we let them get away with it, they have every intention of they would impeach the president for nothing, find him guilty, and demand him to step down, all based on nothing, if people like Jasmine Crockett didn't bring this type of energy to challenge their energy.
Exactly, Ben. And I think that everybody and anybody should give her the credit that is due. But at the same time, she doesn't want to focus on that. She wants to focus that, listen, I've been doing my job and you guys are seeing me be intense, but you don't know what they're doing to us in there. So we do have to match the energy or exceed it, because that's the only way our voices will be heard and any work, if any, will get done. Any kind of change will get done. We can't sit here and allow ourselves to be walked all over, especially not at the expense
Exactly.
of our people. There's a government shutdown looming, and we need to figure out how we're going to protect our government workers that won't possibly get paid during this time. So we're at the end of the show. You guys, listen, such a good show. Such a good show. So many more stories that we could cover for days. And I know when me and Ben get together, we could talk for hours. Okay. So, you know, if you guys want to help and support, because listen, this is for us and by us with a little sprinkle of dust.
So extra.
And
Patreon.com/like it or not.
Patreon.com/like it or not. And if you want to give, tip your host, you could definitely do that at BPD 2018 on Cash App. For anybody who doesn't know, that is Charlie Wilson. I'm blessed by Charlie Wilson.
Something, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Something.
That's an old song, but it's a good one. By
They
Charlie
definitely
Wilson.
have us in the
Grown and Sexy
smooth R&B channel.
That's I know exactly what channel that is. You know,
Hot 105 down in Miami.
That's the one that got Steve Harvey on it, right?
Yep.
In the daytime. That's the one that got back in the day had Tom Joyner, the original.
Yes.
Tom Joyner morning show.
That's the kind of radio music
Michael
they got us
Baisden.
on. Yeah.
Okay. That's that era.
Michael Baisden in the afternoon. Is he still on the air? Michael Baisden?
He's not on air anymore. If I believe that he does a podcast, and he actually focused. You guys, Michael Baisden. Love him. He is a part of my childhood, and he is why I feel like I know good music, and his conversations are so good. But he is focused on love after 40s, and he promotes that on his personal pages. I don't even think it's about his personal life. I just think that he's like, hey, you don't have to. A lot of how people are saying that you should date and how you should date and how you are no longer, which I feel like we should have that conversation. Since we have that freedom right now. But he has a conversation about how, you know how online Kevin Samuels brought up, RIP to Kevin Samuels.
God bless the dead.
Kevin Samuels had everybody in a tizzy during his podcast, and he was saying how if you are a woman who is of a certain age, and I believe it was like late 20s, and anything over 30, you are considered like you're not good anymore,
washed up,
disposed, and disposable, and you
low
are
value. Low value is the kind of word they're using now.
You're not valued anymore. You depreciate because you can't have kids, or you're closer to a time where you're not going to be able to have kids, and your age. And the woman most recently, so that was Kevin Samuels, and that was years ago. And there's a woman now who has gone viral, and I forget her name, Ben. I wish I can get it, but she's gone viral for having the same kind of conversation. And I wish I got her clip. Dang, that was the story I should have got. But I wish I got her clip. She's gone viral before.
About that white lady, that Pearl white lady, or is it a black woman?
She's a black woman, and I believe she's on the Griot, and she had multiple conversations. One of her conversations that went viral was about the status of men and how you date them. There's a bus driver, remember, and like a rich man, and that conversation went viral. But most recently, she said, women, dang, I'm gonna find it. But
Ebony, you talking about Ebony Williams?
Yes.
Okay.
And if
not
you
that
can
I knew,
clip,
somebody in the chat room told me.
Yes, and if you can find that clip, David, that would be so great. I love you so much, Mina. But she talked about how women need to get. She encouraged women who are in college and they're finishing up, about to graduate, to get married immediately, if that's what they choose to do. But get married immediately, because after that, you will be devalued, no matter how beautiful, no matter how much you keep yourself up, no matter what kind of job you have, how much money you have. A man would not value you because now you're older, your chances of having kids is lower. They're not going to want to love you. A woman said this, and she said that's why she encourages all women who, if that's what they choose, to get married now, immediately after they graduate.
To who?
Um,
To who though? Right? Are these high value men?
I feel like she's saying anybody anybody. I feel like it's like one of those, just get married. It's important that you just get married. But I say that to say Michael Baisden has the opposite conversations. He says, listen, after a certain age, you are still capable of love. This conversation is saying that you are no longer valued. Excuse me. He talks about how sex is amazing. And when you're in your 40s and you finally find like you and your wife or your partner, whoever, like he says, sex can still be great. Having conversations can still be beautiful. Taking care of yourself can still be beautiful. You can still be valuable. Your age does not make you wither away.
Yeah.
And
and truthfully, like men know that calling an older woman low value is a lie, because a lot of young men love older women. I was one of them, young men who loved dating older women. I married an older woman. So all these dudes running around here talking about, oh, low value. Okay, get you a grown woman that change your life.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, listen, there's so many societal pressures on all of us, no matter what age you are. We're all experiencing societal pressures. And we've seen the group before us succumb to that. And I think right now we're trying to break it. We're trying to go with what makes sense, but we're also subconsciously looking at these things as if they can be true. Again, I feel grown at this age. There's nothing old about me, but I feel like this is my sexy era. And era. Ben, I got it right. Era. This is my sexy
Stop
era.
doing that to me. Stop doing that to me.
You are mentally writing this down. But this is my mental era. My mental era. That too. This is my sexy era. I'm older. I'm grown, and I feel it. I actually feel it where I feel good. I work out every single day. I take care of myself. I feel sexy. A lot of me looks a little more grown than it did before, and that's what I like about that. And I don't want the world to tell me that I am now considered not good. My eggs is about to dry up tomorrow, and I need to go find a man to settle down with, who, it doesn't matter who, and have babies with this person.
Right. That conversation is replicating itself all around the world right now, particularly in America. It's happening in Black communities, but it's also being spread intentionally by a lot of white conservatives who are trying to change this entire paradigm. They literally are arguing that women shouldn't have the right to vote. Right. That's literally an argument that's coming out of these same people who use the terminology referring to women as low value women because they're older. And then here's the second thing I want to ask is, like, all these people, is Ebony married? Like, I wonder, all these people giving this relationship advice, are they successfully and happily married? Because if you can't manage to be in a relationship, a happy relationship, why are you giving advice? Why is anyone listening to someone who hasn't demonstrated the ability to be in a healthy relationship?
Yeah. And it sucks because you don't have the right to, I mean, and I'll say this, conversations have gotten to an all-time high because we've given everybody a mic.
Yep. Just like us. We got mics.
No. You're right. But Ben, this is my profession, right?
Yeah,
and I'm okay with having conversations, but I know also that, you got to also understand that everybody isn't going to think like you.
Right.
Everybody isn't going to be like you. And I just don't I don't understand why the conversations are from people who have 3 failed relationships, or who are cheating on their spouses. Because that takes me into that one guy, I forget his name, and he went viral, and he had the woman who said she's going to put the armor of Jesus on her.
Yes. The sister with she had the bonnet on.
Yes.
The
and
glasses.
her man, and I know somebody in the comment section, drop
Come on,
his name.
somebody.
Her man was viral and well known for giving relationship advice. Whole time he was treating her like whatever, or his marriage was in shambles, and he was cheating. He was being in
what is that brother's name? It's gonna bother me until somebody in the chat room help us.
Dang, I need it. But Derek
Jackson, right?
Derek Jackson.
There it is. Derek Jackson. You gave me the first name. I remember the last
Derek
name.
Jackson. Yes. There we go. And that's what it's like. Okay, so we do have a clip. We're gonna go ahead and play that clip real quick, and then we'll get to our last episode, because this is the time where our producer starts really pushing us. And
because he got to go walk that dog.
He got to walk the damn dog. And he has to get to work. So let's take a listen to what Ebony says. No, this is an older clip. I
This
think we
over.
had this clip already.
This is a clip of the clip you're looking for is of her doing her shot on the
On her
griot.
the griot. That was her show on the griot. So I apologize. Thank you though. Thank you for that.
Well,
now, grown and sexy is all right. So Charlie, Uncle Charlie brought that vibe up. So here it is.
The reality that needs to be said out loud is that as Black men age, their desirability increases. Thus, their optionality of women is always expanding. And the exact opposite is true for Black women. As we age, doesn't matter how much money we accumulate, our degrees or professional accolades, the reality is that our marriage and partnership market value is depreciating with every passing year.
What?
No matter how good we look, no matter how fit
what in the
we
world?
are, men are still seeing primarily our presumed dwindling fertility as a knock against us. And speaking of fertility, that is another reason that I want younger Black women to seek marriage and partnership in college or right after, if that's what they choose. Because the number of college-educated Black men is so low when compared to Black college-educated women that we're all going to be targeting the same small pool of men. And as we heard today, on most campuses, there's like 7 Black women students for every 1 Black man student. Y'all do the
Somebody in the chat room said even the video wants her to shut up.
Yeah. So, and we'll listen to that. We'll listen. You can go ahead and pull it down. But
so here's my advice.
Woman. Wait. No, play that part.
Let's see if we can get her last words in there.
Please do, because
if you are a young Black woman in college and you know in your heart and in your head that you want to prioritize family, I suggest that you simultaneously pursue that MRS degree right along with that BA or JD. Because a handful of Black college-age men that actually do desire to get married soon, and they do share that value system, and family is a priority for them too, y'all, that is an incredibly small pool, and it's shrinking as you get older. And by the time you reach my age, 40, you will be faced with different choices relating to life partnership and motherhood. Now, I'm not saying that delaying marriage or motherhood is a bad option, but it's one that comes with its own consequences. And our women deserve to know on the front end of their decision making instead of on the back half.
Okay.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first. I have a lot to say, but I'll end it.
Buying into that framework is exactly the reason she's running into the issues that it appears that she's running into, right? If you are going to excuse the system that allows the thinking in men to devalue women because they're getting older based on their ability to have kids, when in a lot of these scenarios, these dudes don't want to take care of the kids anyway. Right? They don't want kids or they don't want the responsibility. So you're asking women to completely shape their worldview around pacifying people who have demonstrated, and I'm saying this as a man, demonstrated the fact that they can't really be pacified or satisfied based on that frame, based on her thinking. That's number one. And the second thing is, yeah, there is an issue in terms of academics and finding someone who has a law degree. How many Black men have law degrees compared to how many Black women law degrees? Okay, that's fine. Work that out for yourself. But the answer is not giving in to this framework that allows a society to devalue women because they are getting older. And she's saying 40 like that's old. Like there's women who have, first of all, there's women who have babies well past 40. That's first of all. But second of all, don't let these dudes fool you into thinking that they're devaluing you because you can't have as many children as they want you to have. When have we seen a whole long list of men besides me? Because I am one of those dudes who run around. I wanted 6 kids, right? I settled with 3. But when do you see a predominance of men who are running around making decisions based on how many children their woman could give them? That's not how it's working today. And so to buy into that framework is just completely self-destructive, because you're asking women to satisfy or to be satisfied with men who were never going to be satisfied with them in the first place.
She's a beautiful woman, right? I'll give her that. She's, I believe, a lawyer, an attorney, a judge, one of them. She works in the legal system in some way, shape, or form. She actually was on The Real Housewives of New York, and this is the information that I've obtained as you were speaking, Ben. Real Housewives of New York, okay? She appeared on Wendy Williams somewhere in 2020, or 2022, she was engaged to be married at some point. One of the quotes that she has was, "I was engaged to be married. I started 2020 planning a wedding, deposits to vendors, a videographer, a wedding planner. I was planning a wedding, a marriage, more importantly, in this quarantine, and made us tell the truth about our relationship." Before they ended things, Williams dated her ex-fiance for nearly 4 years. She added, "I'll tell you what happened. He actually did not quarantine with me. He has 3 children, 2 of which are young adults, and he chose to quarantine in New Jersey with his semi-adult children. And for me, listen, I'm not a parent yet. I get that they're number one, but I need to be number one. And I wasn't number one, so I needed to move on."
Well, okay, that's her choice.
No, it's
That's
very
her.
telling. I tell you,
Yeah.
I played that. I mean, I stated that quote because it's telling. That's how she lives her life. And these people will grab these microphones and start spewing out almost like something where, because of their experiences, she thinks that, she's not a mom yet. She's beautiful. She knows this. She's worked out. She has a great career. Ended up being with a man for 4 years, was engaged to be married, but she's saying that the quarantine proved that she was not number one in this man's life because he chose during a time where people thought they were going to die. My kids, you come on quarantine with me and my kids then.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, did she expect him to wait. No, I did. Okay. Did she expect him to not quarantine with his kids and to come and quarantine with her?
Yes, she said that.
He chose to quarantine. That's the sign of an excellent father.
She said that they were grown, like they were half adult children, like almost adult children, and you were going to quarantine with them.
Like what? I mean, no. Are they under 18? Are they still in the?
Well, no, she said they were she said they were all basically, old enough. But at the end of the day,
I need to know how old those kids were.
I think they're all in school age. She said they're semi-adult.
I don't care. Like putting your family first is literally
she said
number one thing you want to look for.
Oh, here she said he has 3 children, 2 of which are young adults.
What's a young? I mean, 18 and 17 is a young adult. I mean, 12 is a young adult if you ask the cops.
Listen, I'm still going to quarantine with my kids. Listen, the world is on fire, and you, as the love of my life, come on, baby.
See, the thing is everybody is selfish. Everybody, and including me, and until we actually learn how to get over our selfishness, we are not prepared to be in a relationship.
She viewed him as selfish.
Prepared.
She viewed him as selfish. And what's funny is sometimes we're selfish, they're selfish, whatever, but there's a compromise in relationships. You were dating a man for 4 years. You waited 4 years, and then you guys were engaged to be married, and you were planning all that stuff, and the world did crash, and it brought on some heaviness. And here is where it gets more than I think that's right now. She's speaking from a place of her experience, which I understand. There are other women who have gone through that, but baby, we can't let that hurt push our girls into the wrong direction, especially in 2023. You understand that we're not going to try to go swim in this small pool and race against time and do all. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Right now, statistically, marriages are not working.
Because people are selfish. Yes.
And why would you push that on a girl who is just coming out of college?
Oh my God.
If she wants children, if this is what she would have to do, because your experience ended up this way, because you were a beautiful woman, and you were an older, more mature woman. You're not even old, but you're an older woman. You know what you want. You've had a great career, but just because things didn't turn out the way for you, now you're going to sit out here and continue to put out the rhetoric that's going to be hurtful to people. It's basically saying, hey, hurry up. If you choose, I choose to be married. I do. But I'm not going to take this advice and state, like, no matter how well I take care of myself, no matter what career I have, if you are not a good person, then you ain't going to find a good, you're not going to have what you want in life when it comes to relationships, because people will see right through you eventually. You're not a good person. Go ahead, Ben. No, Ben, go ahead.
Because here's, okay, listen, if you're in college and you're in love, and you guys are both like exploring the world and trying to discover the world together, fine. Yeah, y'all do that. Like there's no, I don't think that there is a structural reason why 2 young people fresh out of college who want to try it can't get married and give it a go. Financially, wait to have some kids. I would tell you that much, right? Just get a couple of coins in your account before you try to have kids. But if that's what you want to do fresh out of college, fine. But to base it on the idea that if you don't do it soon enough, these same men are going to devalue you tells me that you are looking at the wrong pool of men to begin with. And you have to ask yourself the question, why do you desire the type of man that is going to devalue you when you get older? Because it's not like you're going to suddenly stop aging because you got married at 24. What happens when they're 44 and all of a sudden you've married somebody who liked you because you were young, fresh, and fit at 24. You're now 44 and they've changed their mind and they want to go see somebody else, right? That's what literally is still happening. When women get sick, men divorce them. So if you are looking for a person like she's instructing you to, and you're rooting it on the type of man that's going to devalue you because you got too old, you're still going to get old and they're still going to start devaluing you. So why not look away from that paradigm altogether?
Yeah, no. Ben.
Yeah, I know we got to go.
No, yeah, we do have to go. I don't want to stretch it. I know. Look, he said the dog is staring.
Tell you these white folks and their dogs.
Hey, yo, listen, we got to figure something out with this dog. Because when we get into conversations like this is deep. This is what people want to hear. I'm going to be honest with you, because this is what's going into people's ears, hearts, homes. Their children are listening to this. This is what we see. And no offense, I don't want to bring her in it, but I'm gonna bring her in it. We have so many girls who are online becoming these online models and things like that, getting with men, having children that they just had their period for maybe 4 years of their life. They're already mothers, right? Because this is what they're saying. Kylie Jenner, who was still in her 20s, said that for her whole life, at 17, for her whole entire life, she wanted to be a mother.
Mm-hmm.
She was 17.
Yeah.
This is what we're teaching our girls, and we can't be doing that. You're not only created for this reason to be loved by a man or to be chosen by a man. You should never have to settle or belittle yourself or pick what's in the pool because society is telling you need to do it now. They're telling you that there's an expiration date on you
your
and your value.
Come on. And they believe it, Rebecca. They're buying into it and shaping an entire world. I'm talking about the women in this part at this point. They're buying into it and they're regurgitating it like Ebony just did, and like that Pearly or whatever her name is, the white woman that went around doing the same exact thing, but she's even more dangerous, right? They buy into it and then y'all are creating a pool of objectified toys for men to pick up and put down as they see fit. That's what they're doing.
Yep. David, I know you got to go, but can you grab this clip that I'm dropping in the chat and we will head out? And this is going to be on a male perspective where about the same thing, but this is going to be by Conscious, I forget his name, honey, but Consciously. Look, Consciously. This is going to be by Consciously, who broke down somebody else's statements, but in such a way that combats this type of rhetoric and conversation. And I'm not saying, listen, if you want to marry young, go ahead and marry young, but don't allow it to look like this, where it tells you to devalue yourself or hurry up and get married before you become devalued by what society says, like women are going to be treated like by men. I don't think that is necessarily true. People like Michael Bazin out there create platforms to let you know that is not true. There are men out here who are of an older age who yearn to be loved and loved back in a proper manner, and they are not going to look at women as that. Listen, you're devalued because you're a certain age. Hell no. Grab that link in the chat, David, because I want to play this, and before we get out of here, so that we don't leave you with Ebony's words, but I want to get the juxtaposition from men. It's in the text. Sorry, text.
And we still, we'll have to come. I guess we'll circle back. The story about Tupac is going to be popping for a little while now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about Tupac later. I know we gotta go.
The David's like, y'all get on my nerves. I'm so sick of it. But I think this is a really important conversation because so many people are being affected by this. Ben, you're fortunate to have your partner in crime, your partner in life, your partner in justice, your partner in everything. You're fortunate to have that. But I know the road wasn't easy. But listen, you found you a good woman, and they said you found a good thing. Let's take a listen to this, though. How Consciously breaks down a conversation around this similar thing.
Y'all want to see somebody get ran through? So, Honest Comedian says, y'all bitches gonna love being single until you're in your 80s, no kids, and your family dead, keep playing. Then Solomon came with the drag. He said, let's have us a more salient conversation. Men have shorter lives than women, fail to create healthy platonic relationships, and neglect mental health and emotional health. Why? He said, we love to use fear of partnership against women, but at the end of the day, men should be fearful of growing old alone. He goes on to say the time we waste performing our masculinity before one another was the time we were supposed to be using to form meaningful bonds. Y'all boys are gonna like this one right here. It's nothing like knocking on 50 in your 15-year-old BMW, high blood pressure in a room with your mama house, and a lifetime of estranged relationships. Wondering why you can't date successfully, so you look for relationships that you can manipulate with money and people you can control, because you have not cultivated an emotional maturity to have an adult relationship. He said, but by all means, let's continue to talk about these women single and gingerly skip over why you single. Solomon said, don't be concerned about women being single. Be concerned about the possibility of a woman being able to cohabitate with a man who doesn't clean his fingernails, believes in do say water alternative, and wants to lead a relationship but doesn't know how to lead his damn self. This one I knew he was coming for the drag. Men rounding 30 start all that hating because they spent a decade being emotionally wounded community penis. He ended it by saying, you bitter because nobody wants to spend the next decade of their lives fixing. Y'all want to see somebody get ran through?
So this, I just want to leave you there, and that's not an attack on men, but men that speak like this. It's not an attack on women, but women that speak like Ebony, who push out this one rhetoric that is very negative. We don't want to push that out there when it comes to relationships. If it is, like she said, is what you choose, don't let your experience give out this information that is toxic and not good to young women or young men. Young men are being that rhetoric that Ebony put out there lets these young men think that their value goes up, even though they don't have to change a thing. With age, they are just they are like wine. They age better, and that is not facts. Just because you are a 50-year-old man and I'm an unmarried 30-year-old woman does not mean I'm just going to automatically choose you.
Listen, there's two archetypes of older black men that I've noticed. There's older black men who got their family situation right, and there's older black men who don't. And this relevant to everybody, right? So white folks too, any race, right? But the older black men who sit in their garages with their grandkids running out in the yard because they have healthy relationships, that does not come with the mindset of a spouse who is devalued as he got older. That comes with the mindset of a man who's willing to overcome all of his issues to not destroy the beauty of a family that you could build. The number one reason families falls apart is rooted in what men do. I know this because my family almost fell apart because of the stupid stuff that men do. And just the thinking and the way we treat each other and the way we are emotionally. I had to go through so much emotional healing to be the kind of father that I wanted to be. I did not realize that I was replicating some horrible behavior patterns, locking myself up in the room, being silent, not talk, all these things that we're taught to do as men. And I started noticing immediately the gap that I was creating between the relationship with me and my children. And I realized, man, if I don't get this right now, then I would be the old man sitting underneath the tree with nobody around me but other old men who are drinking. No, I want to sit in the garage with my kids playing in the yard.
But that's a great self-reflection, because even for women, in my dating, I had to realize too, there are things that I had to unlearn. The way that I was and the way that I was moving was going to be toxic to the lifestyle that I claimed to want and to the man, right, that I would be with. I said, hey, Rebecca, there are things that you have to unlearn before you go in. And when you are in a relationship, you got to die to your old self.
That's right.
And you can't be afraid to do that. People be out here trying to carry on what social media said you should be and what your past was looking like and how you are because you're a man or because you are a woman, you deserve. And because you're a man, it's required. No. A lot of those things, you got to die to that stuff so that you can become new. You're in a relationship. There's a compromise. There's sacrifices. There's things that happen here. And that's just what that is.
Apologize. Learn to apologize to your children. Learn to apologize
to your kids,
to
your partner. Accountability. It doesn't look like, hey, sorry. Changed behavior. Also saying, hey, today I realized I wasn't the best to you.
That's right.
Yesterday, I even talked to you in a disrespectful manner, and I apologize. That's something that I'm going to work on moving forward. It may not be overnight, but moving forward, you will see change. And if ever I'm doing that, and in the moment, feel free to call me out on it.
And if you are with a man or a woman or a gender nonconforming individual that refuses to do that, if you are with somebody who refuses to acknowledge that they have to change, run. There is no value. They have no value. They're going to bring your value down.
Yep. David's dog is dancing.
So am I. I'm old. I got to go too.
Look,
I go walk me.
Get out of here, you guys. I could have this conversation all day, but if you love the show, you already know where to go. Patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/like it or not. A lot of you guys are in the chat saying, hey, we want to continue this conversation. Listen, you already know what to do. For us to stay more, support, because we got to go ahead and pay these bills to keep these lights on some kind of way. I love you guys. I mean that with everything in me. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next Saturday. Mwah. Love you, mean it. Tupac's murderer is now in jail.
There it is. We covered it.
See you later.
Love y'all.